Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Most people think of Canada as the land of hockey, lumberjacks, and sweet maple syrup. But if you look closer, you will find a country that is much more surprising. Beyond these well-known images, Canada holds many secrets. It is a place with very strange geography, some truly odd laws, and encounters with wild animals that you would not believe. For example, imagine a country so large that almost 90% of its people live close to the United States border. What about a place where polar bears are a common sight, and there is even a polar bear jail to keep them safe from people? You will also learn about the largest moose population in the world, which can make driving quite an adventure. Did you know that Canada has been invaded by the United States not once, but 2 times in history? There was even a huge crime called the Great Maple Syrup Heist, where millions of dollars worth of syrup went missing. These are just small tastes of the amazing facts that we will uncover. This book invites you to explore the hidden side of Canada. Forget what you think you know. Get ready to discover a country of extreme environments, ancient history, and fascinating inventions. We will journey through vast, empty lands, meet unique wildlife, and uncover stories that go beyond all common stereotypes. Come with us to see the truly unbelievable Canada. 2. A big, empty country. Canada is a very large country, but most of its people live close to the United States border. About 90% of Canadians live within 100 miles of the U.S. This is because the northern parts of Canada are very cold and difficult to build on. One reason for this difficulty is the Canadian Shield. This is a huge area of old rock that covers much of eastern and central Canada. During the last ice age, ice scraped away soil, leaving this ancient rock exposed. Building houses, roads, or even water systems on this hard rock is very tough. The ground makes it hard to create the things people need to live comfortably. Further north, Canada has a huge territory called Nunavut. It is 1/5 of the country's total land, but only about 38,000 people live there. The weather is very cold, and much of the land is made of islands that are hard to live on. Nunavut has one of the lowest population densities in the world. This means very few people live in a very large space. Overall, Canada is the 4th least crowded country on Earth. It is 25 times bigger than the U.S. state of California, but it has almost the same number of people. Canada has about 41 million people living in an area of 9 million square kilometers. This makes its population density only 4 people per square kilometer. But what covers all this empty land? Water. Canada has more lakes than all other countries combined. There are over 2 million lakes in Canada. More than 500 of these lakes are very big, over 100 square kilometers in size. Canada also holds about 20% of the world's fresh water. About 9% of the country's land is covered by fresh water. Canada also has many large national parks. Some of these parks are bigger than entire countries in Europe. For example, Wood Buffalo National Park is larger than both Denmark and Switzerland. Nahanni National Park Reserve is bigger than Armenia. These parks protect Canada's huge forests, which make up 9% of all forests on Earth. These vast natural areas show just how truly big and wild Canada is. 3. Wild animals of Canada. Canada is a land of many wild animals. It has the world's largest population of moose. Between 500,000 and 1 million moose live here. This means most moose in the world live in Canada. These large animals can be dangerous for drivers. For example, in Newfoundland and Labrador, there are 539 accidents with moose each year. British Columbia sees 11,000 crashes between cars and wild animals, and many of these are with moose. So, drivers must be very careful when driving through Canadian landscapes. Another amazing animal found in Canada is the polar bear. The town of Churchill in Manitoba is called the polar bear capital of the world. Many polar bears live near this town, about 600 to 1,000. During certain times of the year, people see more than 10 polar bears every day. Because of this, many of the town's 800 people leave their car doors unlocked. This is not for the bears to get in, but so people can quickly jump into a car if a bear is near and make a safe escape. If a polar bear causes trouble, it might go to polar bear jail. This special building was made in Churchill in 1983. It can hold up to 28 bears. This jail keeps both bears and people safe. In early November, polar bears are very hungry before the ice forms. They sometimes come close to homes to find food. Workers first try to scare the bears away with loud noises. If that does not work, the bears are taken to jail. They stay for 30 days or until the ice is ready for them to hunt again. This helps prevent bad encounters. Canada also has other animal stories. In Alberta, there is a very big beaver dam. It is in Wood Buffalo National Park. This dam is almost 2,800 feet long. It is so big that you can see it from space. The area is so remote that you would need to walk for many days through wet lands to reach it. The dam holds a lot of water, an amount equal to about 92,000 dump trucks. Finally, Alberta has a unique rule. It is rat-free. Since the 1950s, Alberta has worked hard to keep rats away. When rats started coming from a nearby area, Alberta began a special program with rat patrol teams. This program was very successful. Today, people in Alberta cannot even own pet rats. This strict policy keeps the province clean and safe from these pests. 4. A nation's story. The name Canada has an interesting story. In 1535, a European explorer named Jacques Cartier met two Iroquois men. They pointed to their village and said Kanata, which meant village or settlement in their language. Cartier, not understanding, thought Kanata was the name for the entire region. This misunderstanding gave the country its name. Canada's history also includes conflicts. The United States invaded Canada 2 times. The first was in 1775 during the American Revolutionary War. American soldiers hoped Canada would join them, but Canadians and Indigenous people resisted, forcing a retreat. The second invasion happened in the War of 1812. Canada was a British colony. These failed attempts helped Canadians feel more united. Despite a reputation for politeness, Canadian soldiers were known for fierce fighting. In World War I, German soldiers called them stormtroopers for aggressive tactics. This spirit was seen again in World War II. Their intense actions even influenced parts of the Geneva Conventions, international rules for war. Canada's journey to full independence from Britain was long. It gained self-governance in 1867 and more power over its laws in 1931. But it was not fully independent until 1982. On April 7, 1982, Queen Elizabeth II signed the Constitution Act. This was the final step for Canada to become its own sovereign nation. Before these events, violent beaver wars took place in the 17th century. These bloody conflicts lasted for 92 years. European traders wanted beaver fur, leading to fierce fighting between indigenous groups like the Iroquois and Algonquian tribes for hunting grounds and trade. European powers also joined. Thousands died and beavers were almost gone. Long before other European arrivals, Vikings reached North America. The oldest known European settlement on the continent is in Canada, at L'Anse aux Meadows. This Viking village dates back to around 1021 AD. Archaeologists found remains of Norse buildings and tools, proving that Vikings lived here over 1,000 years ago. 5. Canadian culture and inventions. Canada is known for its rich culture. The country has a very educated population. Until recently, Canada had the most educated people in the world. More than 66% of adults finish some kind of university study. Canadian universities have made important discoveries, like plexiglass and the first internet search engine, Archie. One surprising Canadian invention is basketball. James Naismith, a Canadian, created the game in 1891 while working in Massachusetts. He used a soccer ball and 2 peach baskets to make a fun new game. The baseball glove was also invented in Canada in 1883. Many famous actors and singers in Hollywood are Canadian. People like Ryan Reynolds, Celine Dion, Jim Carrey, Seth Rogen, Keanu Reeves, and Rachel McAdams all come from Canada. Canada has two official national sports. Hockey is the national winter sport. Lacrosse is the national summer sport. Lacrosse was first played by Indigenous peoples in Canada long ago. They called it the Creator's Game. While many think Canada only has English and French, the country is home to many languages. The Northwest Territories alone have 11 official languages. A 2021 study found that people in Canada speak 474 languages, including 72 Indigenous languages. Canadians also love donuts. They eat over 1 billion donuts every year. Canada has more than 4,000 donut shops, which is the most per person in the world. And, of course, there is maple syrup. Canada produces over 70% of the world's maple syrup. Most comes from Quebec. In 2024, Canada made nearly 20 million gallons of syrup. This sweet product is very important. It was even part of a big crime. The Great Maple Syrup Heist happened between 2011 and 2012. Thieves stole about $18 million worth of syrup from a Quebec storage facility. They slowly replaced the syrup with water. Later, some of the people involved were caught and sent to prison. This shows how much Canadians value their maple syrup. 6. Strange places and big things. Canada is a land of incredible geography, full of unique places and massive natural features. It holds many world records for its landscapes. First, Canada has the longest coastline in the world. Its coast stretches over 151,000 miles, 243,010 kilometers. This long line includes the shores of its almost 52,500 islands. If you walked 12.4 miles, 20 kilometers every day, it would take you 33 years to walk Canada's whole coast. The country also has the world's longest freshwater beach, called Wasaga Beach. One very strange place is an island in a lake on an island in a lake on an island. This small island, about 4 acres, 1.6 hectares in size, is 75 miles, 120 kilometers, inside Victoria Island in Nunavut. Victoria Island is the 8th largest island in the world. No one has ever visited this tiny, nested island. Up in the northern parts of Canada, you can find special ice-cored hills called pingos. These conical hills grow in permafrost when water freezes underground and pushes upwards. The Mackenzie Delta region in the Northwest Territories has over 1,300 pingos, the largest group in the world. Canada also holds the oldest rocks on Earth. In northern Quebec, near Hudson Bay, geologists found bedrock that is 3.8 to 4.28 billion years old. These ancient rocks are known as the Nuvuagatuk Greenstone Belt. Some scientists say other Canadian rocks, called Acosta gneiss, are the oldest, even if they are a bit younger at 4.03 billion years. Either way, Canada has the oldest rocks. Interestingly, there is a place in Canada with less gravity. In the Hudson Bay area, gravity is 0.005% less than usual. Scientists first measured this in the 1960s. One idea is that a very thick ice sheet once covered this area and changed the Earth's pull. In Saskatchewan, you can visit Little Manitou Lake, which is like Canada's own Dead Sea. It is 5 times saltier than the ocean, so you can easily float on its water. This lake gets its water from underground springs, but water only leaves by evaporation, making it very salty. Canada is home to many large islands. Manitoulin Island in Lake Huron is the world's largest freshwater island, and it has 108 lakes on it. Other huge Arctic islands, like Victoria, Ellesmere, and Baffin Island, are almost the size of whole countries. Baffin Island is slightly smaller than Thailand. Finally, the Bay of Fundy, between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, has the highest tides on the planet. Its V-shape pushes the water as it flows in, causing the tide to rise by 52 feet, 16 meters twice a day. Each day, 160 billion tons of seawater move in and out of the bay. 7. Canada's modern mysteries. Canada holds many modern puzzles. One was the Whiskey War with Denmark. From 1973 to 2022, Canada and Denmark argued over Hans Island, a small piece of land in the Arctic. They did not fight with weapons. Instead, soldiers from each country would visit the island. They would take down the other country's flag and put up their own. They also left gifts of alcohol, like Canadian whiskey or Danish schnapps. This friendly dispute ended on June 10, 2022, when they agreed to share the island. Another mystery has been Quebec's desire for independence. In the past, some groups, like the FLQ, used bombs and even kidnapped people. This led to the October Crisis in 1970. During this time, the FLQ kidnapped a minister and a diplomat. The Canadian Prime Minister, Pierre Trudeau, used a special law to send police. One kidnapped person was killed. Today, some people in Quebec still want the province to be a separate country. Canada is also important for its natural resources. It is the second largest producer of uranium in the world, after Kazakhstan. Most of this uranium comes from Saskatchewan. Even stranger, in 2016, scientists found a 2-billion-year-old pool of water deep underground near Kidd Mine in Ontario. This old water might show that life can live in very difficult places. The country also has extreme weather. Snag, a village in Yukon, recorded one of the coldest temperatures ever in the world. On February 3, 1947, it was minus 81.4 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 63 degrees Celsius. This is as cold as Mars. Further north, Alert, Nunavut, is the northernmost place on Earth where people live permanently. Only about 55 people live there, mostly at a military base. Even in summer, it is very cold. Nunavut also has Mount Thor, which has the world's biggest vertical drop. It is a cliff over 4,100 feet high. It even leans outward, making it very dangerous. In Ontario, the city of Windsor had a strange problem called the Windsor hum. Since 2011, a low noise bothered residents. No one knew where it came from. But during the pandemic, a steel factory on Zug Island in the U.S. closed. Then the hum stopped. This showed the factory caused the mystery noise. Finally, Gander Airport in Newfoundland was once the busiest airport in the world in the 1950s. Airplanes then could not fly long distances without stopping. Gander was a perfect stop for flights over the Atlantic Ocean, making it a very important place. This chapter shows that Canada is full of surprises, from friendly wars to ancient water and strange noises. 8. The end of our trip. Our journey through Canada has shown us a country full of surprises. It is much more than just hockey and maple syrup, as many people think. We discovered a land with bizarre geography, unusual rules, and amazing wildlife. We learned about Canada's huge lands. Most people live near the U.S. border, even though the country is enormous. Building homes in the north is hard because of the Canadian Shield and the very cold weather. Places like Nunavut are vast, covering 1/5 of Canada, but only about 38,000 people live there. The climate is harsh, and much of it is remote Arctic islands. This gives Canada a very low population density, making many parts feel empty. We also saw how extremely cold it can be, with towns like Snag in Yukon reaching temperatures like -81 degrees Fahrenheit. This is similar to the average temperature on the planet Mars, showing how tough the environment can be. Remember Churchill and Manitoba, known as the polar bear capital of the world? We heard that people there sometimes leave their car doors unlocked. This is not for fun, but so they can quickly hide inside a car if a polar bear comes too close. If a bear causes trouble or gets too close to people often, it might end up in a special polar bear jail. This facility, built in 1983, helps keep both the bears and the townspeople safe, holding bears until the ice returns. Then there was the strange story of the great maple syrup heist in Quebec. Thieves stole millions of dollars worth of maple syrup, not all at once, but over many months in 2011 and 2012. They slowly took syrup from big barrels in a storage facility and secretly filled them with water. This was a major crime about a very sweet product. And who could forget the mystery of Hudson Bay? In this part of Canada, scientists found that there is a little bit less gravity. It has 0.005% less gravity than other places. Scientists think this might be because of a very thick ice sheet that once covered the area. This makes Canada even more unique, with its own gravity mystery. These stories show that Canada is a land of amazing geography, wild animals, and unexpected history. It has given us many unbelievable facts, from the longest coastline to lakes bigger than some countries. This country is full of places you wouldn't expect and stories that sound like they are from another world. Our trip has ended, but Canada's strange tales never truly finish. What was the most surprising fact you learned about Canada during our journey?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.